Well, hello everybody. Welcome back to my YouTube channel, Real Talk with Rory. If you are new here, welcome. If you are just coming back from another video, welcome back. It's so good to see you. It's been a while since we've done one of these videos, and I thought it was time to get this up and going again because I really actually enjoy making these videos, even though I am not the best at speaking, as you can tell, because I say and I have brain stutters, but you know what? You only get better when you actually face your fear and you do it. So on this channel, we talk about all things writing, whether it be writing techniques, writing tips, tricks, the industry, or different things about school, because I value explaining what I've learned throughout the years and what I'm still learning, because you know what? Learning is a never ending process. So yeah, I wanted to share a little bit of my wisdom so that y'all don't have to make the same mistakes that I've made. A couple of mistakes I've made. And also, it's been a while since we did one of these videos, so a little bit of what's been going on is I graduated with my bachelor's in creative writing. I just finished that up, along with also finishing the Publish and Go program that we have been talking about for the last couple of weeks. A final video about rating the program, the coaching program, and then also I finished rewriting Ravenwood 1, so that should be actually coming out by the end of this year. And it's actually in editing process, which is a whole new process for me. So I will have a video of when I get my book back of a little bit of talking about that process and how that is going. And because the publishing industry is kind of still a little very cloak and dagger, so I want to shed a little bit of light on this. So we want to get back to these informational videos, which is very exciting for the next couple weeks. Into December, we are going to be talking about characters and starting to create those characters. And then in the new year, we're going to be talking a little bit more about world building, because characters and world building go hand in hand before you even start the process of writing your book. So in this video, we're going to go back to the basics of knowing the hierarchy of characters. It is something that a lot of people don't talk about once you learn it once in middle school or high school, but that understanding how these characters work is very, very important to developing your cast of characters for your story, making it plausible, making it understandable, and making sure that you don't overwhelm your story with characters that are not necessarily needed. So this video is the first video heading into characters, which is talking about the basic hierarchy of characters. So further ado, let's get into the video. Okay, what do I mean by the hierarchy of characters? The hierarchy of characters is explaining what level of importance your character has in the story. Now, there are three main levels, which is the main character, the secondary character, and the tertiary character. The main character is the character that your readers or your audience will follow throughout the story as they go to pursue a journey to fight a bad guy or to achieve a goal. Now, this character is often, though the story is often told by this character's point of view, either in first person, which is often in young adult, where the character is telling their own story as they move through their journey. And then there's also third person narrator, where there is an outside voice telling the story of this one character, aka think of Princess Bride, where the grandfather is reading a storybook to his grandson about Princess Buttercup and Wesley as they fight to come back together against the prince who is trying to stop him because he wants the princess for himself. All of the conflict is going to be geared towards stopping your main protagonist. This character is also the most developed out of all the other characters. And we're going to have another video in the future about making sure you pick the correct protagonist and make sure you develop them enough compared to secondary characters. Now, there are also some characters that blur the line between main character and secondary character, but we are going to be talking about that in a video following in the next week or two. So let's move on. Secondary character. Your secondary character is your supporting cast. These characters are the ones that have a little bit less development than your main protagonist, so we won't know like their backstories, their values, um, all the time. But they are characters that help your main character pursue their goals and support them, or on the villain side, go against the character, try to stop the character, and act as like goons or villains to the character. I'm saying character a lot, aren't I? But these characters are developed second to most importance of the main character. So think of characters like Ron and Hermione, Professor Lupin. I would even say Neville Longbottom. They are in several scenes throughout the book and throughout the series, and it's not like a one and done. You see them, and then secondary characters can vary between being an active role along with the main character, or can be towards a little bit more of a subtle role of tertiary characters, but still have a name. You understand their character, you understand their personality. They may have a little bit of an arc, and they are recognizable to the reader. Like when you hear Neville Longbottom in book 2 or book 3, you will recognize him. You will recognize Luna, but they are still only in a couple scenes throughout the story. Now, finally, the tertiary characters. These are going to be your extras, and they often are just known by the name of their occupation. So the soldier, the barista, the teacher, or another student passing by making a snide comment, or uh, offering information. Now, they are important for rounding out your characters. So, like, visualize a movie where a movie has extras in it. So, like, think about Avengers if you've seen the movie, the Battle of New York, and there if there was no extras and there's no people for the Avengers to save, it would look like a ghost town. Like, what's the point? So you need to have those characters of those scared villagers, or the barista that talks to them in the side. Like if you think Ant-Man, where he talks to the people at Baskin Robbins. So these characters just make your world feel lived in, and it's important. They can also be pieces that give your characters information, or in, like, I'm going to use the example in my book. My protagonist is moving around the scene, and she's getting information by the gossiping students around her. They never have a name, you never see them again, but you get a little bit of information from them. And also, that's also another story. So those are kind of fun to play around with, and most of the time they're just going to be referred to in your book, in your story, as the soldier or the barista, or extra students, or yeah, there's a bunch of other things I'm saying, or a lot now too. See, this is why we go with it and we learn as we go. Now, in the future, we're going to be talking about character types and how these character types fall into each of these three categories. But it's kind of important to know these this hierarchy, because it's important for knowing in your when you start writing your story, because sometimes you can develop a secondary character more than your main character, which is a big no-no. So you need to understand how much information will be covered in each character type, so that you don't bog down your story with too many characters, which I do that a lot. And I have to be very careful with that one. That's my go too. Or making sure you pick the right protagonist, because there have been many stories out, very popular stories, where the author has very much developed the secondary characters, and they should have picked one of the secondary characters to be the main character. in my opinion. I will go into that in another video. But yeah, that's kind of a little bit of information, and we're going to be covering this a lot. If you like this video and you like the content and you want to see more of it, please like, follow, and share, and hit that notification bell in the corner to subscribe and be notified for when I drop new videos. And we are actually now on TikTok at RM McDermott Author, and where we're going to be posting some aesthetic videos once or twice a week to start showing you what Ravenwood is about and showing you some of the fun characters that you're going to see in there. In the following weeks, I'm also working on developing a newsletter. If I could just get my email to work on my website, but you know what? It's part of the process, and I really want to be candid about some of the struggles and some of the developmental issues, because it doesn't happen overnight. And these one of the reasons why I haven't been doing these videos is because I've been working on developing the script so that I can give you good information and really nice development. And yeah, so we are growing and we are starting to go, and there's a lot of stuff in the works. So in the following weeks, I'm going to be very excited to share this with you. So if you like this video, just comment, share, and also bye guys.